What is up, you guys? Welcome back to B-Ball Discussions. Today, we are going to do the second round predictions for the 2021 NBA playoffs. We're going to start in the Eastern Conference because that's how I like to roll, starting with the number 1 Philadelphia 76ers versus the number 5 Atlanta Hawks. So a little warning slash full disclosure. I am recording this on Sunday, the 6th of June at 9 o'clock at night. So I have in fact seen game 1 already. I wanted to wait till all the first round games are done before I can give my second round predictions. And, you know, the NBA just likes to start the rounds a little bit early. So that's just how it goes sometimes. Now, going into the series, my biggest worry with Philadelphia was Joel Embiid. Embiid tore his meniscus in the last round, and that sounds a lot worse than it possibly could be, although it could be really bad, it could be nothing. It's really hard to say, and you can do some research, watch a YouTube video of a doctor like talking about torn menisci, and just let him tell you what it's about. But basically, it's an injury that could debilitate him and leave him off the court for weeks to even months, or it's an injury that might not even be noticeable. The fact that he missed 2 games in the, or maybe he missed 1 game, 1.5, whatever it was, 1 in whatever game in the Washington Wizards series had me a little worried, thinking maybe he was seriously hurt. But he looked pretty good in that first game against Atlanta. Now, I like Philadelphia. They have Embiid, they have Simmons, Tobias Harris. I didn't give any credit to in my last prediction video, but he's also a terrific player. He's actually leading them in scoring. He's putting up 25 a game through 5 games. You know what? I think that this doesn't include, I have the stats pulled up in front of me, but they don't have today's games on here, so it's just the first round series. He was averaging 25 a game. This is a good team, but I think Atlanta has too much firepower. Trae Young has been amazing. Absolutely amazing. For his first ever playoff run, he is he is the villain, and it's been so fun to watch him play against the New York Knicks. Oh my gosh, it was fun to watch. I literally every game was must-see basketball. Bogdanović was incredibly clutch in that game in game 1 against the Sixers. Collins, even though he had some games where he was a dud, all in all, he's efficient and he's starting to produce. DeAndre Hunter's been a very good defensive player, and Clint Capella is awesome. Danilo Gallinari, not the best player in the world, but hey. And then Kevin Huerter is being extremely efficient on the field. Meanwhile, for Philadelphia, they don't really have a whole lot of players stepping up. Danny Green's hitting his shots. Tyrese Maxey is shooting surprisingly well, but his biggest impact is his defense, and his defense is fine so far. Not the best thing in the world, but it's fine. Dwight Howard, I think, is an underrated performer for them so far. So I think Atlanta just has too much firepower, and it's not like Philadelphia lacks offense, and I understand that Atlanta lacks defense, but weighing all things considered, I'm going with Atlanta winning the series in 5 games. I know it's a pretty big upset there, but that's what I'm saying is going to happen. Next up, we go to the number 2. Let me make sure. Yep, number 2, Brooklyn Nets taking on the number 3, Milwaukee Bucks. If you guys, by the way, can hear my cat meowing in the background, that's because she's a kitten and she wants my attention, and I've been giving her my attention all day. She doesn't need it for at least 15 minutes. I'm going to be doing this. I'm a good cat owner. All right, so Brooklyn Nets won convincingly against the Boston Celtics. They lost 1 game where, as I predicted, Jason Tatum went off, but he couldn't do that 4 games in a row. So the thing to make note of, though, is the fact that James Harden is MIA. Harden being off the court is a really big punch in the gut because Brooklyn is not the deepest team in the world. Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are amazing players. Cannot understate that. Joe Harris is the best 3-point shooter in the league right now. Blake Griffin has played really well given his standing in his career. But after that, there's a pretty big hole. Mike James, is he the next best player? Probably, and he's not that good. Meanwhile, Milwaukee has 4 guys who I think, the top 4 of Milwaukee and the top 2 of Brooklyn, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I feel like their usage percentage is very similar. And I think the top 4 of Milwaukee adds up to a better on-court production than the top 2 of Brooklyn. I know that was a really long, rambly explanation of what I'm thinking right now. But Giannis Antetokounmpo has been phenomenal. Chris Middleton has been good, although he didn't play very well in Game 1. Brook Lopez has been really good. And I just want to mention this. I watch a lot of YouTubers that like doing NBA discussion. And one of the ones that I watch almost every day is Rusty Buckets. I know he's not watching this, but just so you guys know, check out his channel. He's got over 100,000 subscribers. I'm sure you've already seen him if you're seeing my videos. But he, in his video where he kind of did a little pre-game discussion about this series, he said Brook Lopez was going to be unplayable. And I don't get that. Because let me pull up the exact stat line for him. Because I watched the game and he was great. Yeah, he had 19 points, only 5 rebounds. He doesn't rebound much, but he had 19 points. It was 8 of 11 on the field. So he was fine. Brook Lopez did just fine. And then Drew Holiday had a dud of a game. If those 4 guys can click, and James Harden, I don't know if I mentioned this yet, but James Harden's hurt. If those 4 guys can click and Harden stays off the court, Milwaukee has this. But I don't think that's going to happen. And I really want Milwaukee to win this series. I much prefer the Milwaukee team to the Brooklyn team. All the guys on the Milwaukee's roster are likable at this point ever since they got rid of Eric Bledsoe. Whereas Brooklyn, you just have these 3 guys who are all about themselves leading the way. And it just, as much as I love watching Steve Nash be the coach and Mark Stoudemire on the bench, Mike D'Antoni, I don't like the players on the court that much. Not all of them. I mean, I like Joe Harris, I like Jeff Green, I like Mike James, he was a Sun for a while, Landry Shaman, Nicholas Claxton, Tyler Johnson, another former Sun. I like watching those guys have success, but I don't want to see James Harden and Kyrie Irving have success, and I don't care about Kevin Durant. He could win, I don't care. I'd like to see Milwaukee win this series, but my final prediction is going to be Brooklyn winning in 7. We are going for a 7-game series here. Alright, next up, we move on to the Western Conference. We have the number 1 Utah Jazz taking on the number 4 LA Clippers. The Clippers, by the way, oh my goodness, that game against the Dallas Mavericks today, everyone, I think literally everyone, unless you are an active Clippers fan, every human being who knows anything about basketball wanted the Mavericks to win, and they just let everyone down. It's so disheartening that the Clippers won. You hate to see it. So Utah won their first round matchup against the Grizzlies pretty convincingly, and everyone played pretty well. Donovan Mitchell shot the ball incredibly well. Jordan Clarkson didn't shoot the ball well. Bogdanovich was great. Gobert was phenomenal. Conley did a great job, and then the role guys all did their thing. Royce O'Neal was a pretty phenomenal player off the bench for him. I really like Utah. I think they are a great winning team. Not too flashy. Yeah, they have one guy who is an all-star and is, maybe at the teeter-totter of the next level above an all-star. But after that, it's all just role players doing their thing. Whereas the LA Clippers have 2 guys who are all-stars, and then it's a pretty big drop-off from there. Like, Kawhi Leonard is the reason the Clippers won the series. Kawhi Leonard played so well. Let me just tell you guys this. So he averaged 32 points a game on a 60, 43, 88 split. That is just amazing. And watching the games, it was just Kawhi Leonard taking over and saying, I'm not done here. Which is really interesting to me, because Kawhi Leonard has the reputation in the basketball world of someone who just doesn't care. He's already reached the top of success multiple times. I think he was quoted saying basketball is just his 9 to 5. He doesn't think about it when he's not at work. And yet he's still so stinking just amazing on the court. You wish he cared more. But when he's on the court, it seems like he cares. I don't know. Paul George, the guy who genuinely does care, he kind of, I don't want to say he sucked, because he had his moments. He played well. 23, 9, and 5 is good. It's just he didn't shoot the ball the best. Reggie Jackson stepped up big time for him. Who else was? Rondo is Rondo. That the whole team. What is that noise? If you're wondering, I'm in my work office right now. I'm gonna pause for a second. Alrighty, I'm back. So my office has a pretty good view of like our pasture that we have, and I don't see anything. It was just a really loud noise coming from the road. It must have just been like a lot of cars, I don't know, motorcycles or something, but it was like a screeching noise. I don't know if you guys could hear that. Anyways, the Clippers, they won because of Kawhi Leonard. So, Utah Jazz versus LA Clippers. Who's going to win this series? Oh my goodness. It's going to be Utah. Utah's going to win this in 6 games. Final prediction. All right, let's move on to the final matchup. Here we go. Phoenix Suns, the number 2 seed, taking on the number 3 seed Denver Nuggets. I don't get a lot of engagement below my videos, but I got a comment in the last video of someone saying there's no, and it's more than just the one comment. This was the narrative all over YouTube. Everyone that I watched said the same thing. There's no way the Lakers are going to lose in the first round. LeBron James has never lost in a first round. The Lakers are healthy. Blah, 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 blah. What happened? My prediction, Phoenix Suns winning in 6, was exactly what happened. And I think that's so funny. Now, of course, the quick comment, the quick rebuttal, the quick me comment is Anthony Davis got hurt. That's the only reason why the Suns won. Well, the only game in the series where every team was fully healthy was game 1, and the Suns won pretty convincingly. After that, Chris Paul was hurt for 2 games, and the Lakers were able to win. But neither game was a blowout. They were both comfortable wins, but it was a close game throughout pretty much. It was about a 10-point game the whole way. After Chris Paul came back and Davis left, it was a blowout every game. The Lakers would have to make a huge run to make it within 15 in the final minutes. Like, that's how the Suns played so well that I really, like, I think they're going to go on. They have everything clicking right now. And if you think about it, I'm saying they had everything clicking right now. They didn't. Jay Crowder played like crap. Mikal Bridges has been pretty useless apart from hitting his threes and playing defense. He hasn't done much else, and he usually is a really good rim attacker. Chris Paul, yeah, he was only technically hurt for 2 games, but all in all throughout the series, he's played very poorly. Cameron Johnson was a little shaky. Torrey Craig barely did anything. Dario Saric has been unplayable so far. You know, there's all these guys who definitely could perform better than they have, and now they get a chance to do it again. Meanwhile, Denver had a little bit of a closer series than I think a lot of people were expecting. I don't remember exactly what I predicted. It was either 5 or 6 games, and I mean, they won in 6, so I was kind of right. Whatever it was, I was close. But the Trailblazers definitely gave them a hard time. Nikola Jokic has been MVP-like. Michael Porter Jr. is, I think, one of the best young stars in the NBA. He has played so well, and what really impresses me about his game is just how efficient he is. He is a 50-40-90 guy in the playoffs at 22 years of age. That is just phenomenal. Monty Morris has shot the ball really well. Aaron Gordon also. This was, and I did the research into this. This was the first time I think he ever played in a game 6, like 6 games into the playoffs. That's the deepest he's ever gone in his career. And I think it was a number 4 overall pick. Now he's going into the 2nd round for the first time. That's pretty exciting. Austin Rivers is literally a veteran's minimum, and he played stupendously for him. I don't know how to say the first name, but is it Facundo or Facundo Campazzo? I know Campazzo. He played really well, and he's a veteran. He is someone who can orchestrate an offense. Like, this is a good team, and I would love them to be in the other matchup because I think they could take down Utah, and I think they could take down the Clippers, but I don't want them taking down the Suns. I'm going with the Phoenix Suns winning this in 6 games. So there you have it, my 2nd round predictions. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and stick with this channel. Right now we're doing a lot of just predictions videos, but I have other things in the works now that we are mostly settled into this home. We are going to Florida for a week, so there might be a small delay in videos, but subscribe if you want. If you like NBA content, like the video please if you made it this far, and I will see you all next time.